We're not heart surgeons, what we do, but we're surgeons of the heart.
Welcome back to Holding Space with Tracy. Before we start, please follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And of course, thank you to all of you who are supporting and listening. It means a lot. So I wanted to share with you something that I enjoyed this week, which was I was offered tickets to see Brandi Carlile here at the Forum in Los Angeles. And it's my fourth time seeing her in concert. And my good friend Daniel Reynolds from Out Magazine, editor-in-chief, he came with me. So we too went to see her. And she played for 2.5 hours. It was really healing and joyful. It just kind of reminds me that finding whatever that is that you need in dark times, whether it's art or, food with a good friend or whatever it is you need, find it, do that thing when you can, and take care of yourselves. My guest this week is an actor, producer, and a Christmas heartthrob. You may have seen him in the play Afterglow or on Hallmark's Finding Mr. Christmas. Please welcome Robbie Simpson. Welcome, Robbie Simpson. Thank you so much for being here with me today.
I am so honored to be here. I'm such a fan of the podcast and your work. So I feel so honored to be sitting here with you today.
And I'm just thrilled that I get to be with a Mr. Christmas and, this play that you worked on. So I'm very excited about that. So thank you.
Yeah, so many things to talk about.
Yeah. Well, first, because the world is really tough right now, I do like to start and ask, how are you?
Thank you for that question.
Yeah.
I'm doing really well right now. I'm doing really well this week. I'm happy to be here in LA. I'm a New Yorker, although I flirt more and more with LA all the time. So I love being here. I feel like a lot of New Yorkers are like, oh, I don't like LA, or I could never be in LA. And a lot of people in LA feel that way about New York, but I just love both. So happy to be here. Happy to be talking about GLAAD and Hallmark and the show and celebrating all of these wonderful things that are putting queer representation into the universe. So this week I'm good.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. And you basically anticipated my first question, which is, my second question, which is, you're in town for the GLAAD Awards. And literally, are you excited to be in a room full of people celebrating queer artists? That is my question.
How could anyone I not be so excited about this? And I have followed the GLAAD Awards for so long and their work. And it's beyond my, comprehension that I'm even a part of it. Nevertheless, our show being nominated for a GLAAD Award, it's something I never thought about, but it's so important. And to be nominated on the Hallmark channel is really special, I think, because I think the viewership and who's watching that channel, and it gets such a big reach. And even the response from my show, the DMs I was getting and people reaching out, it's so important because I don't think it's an audience that is as used to seeing so much queer representation. So that's just a huge bonus for me.
Right. I mean, it's important, that storytelling I was watching this, they're now called the Actor Awards, but I was watching the SAG Awards the other day, and I would not have bet that Harrison Ford's Lifetime Achievement Award would have me in tears. But he was talking about empathy and storytelling. And so he was really kind of making a bit of a political statement without making it overtly political, but really talking about how storytelling changes hearts and minds. And that's absolutely what Hallmark Channel is doing.
Absolutely. I like to say that we're not heart surgeons, what we do, but we're surgeons of the heart. And that the work that we do is incredibly political. It is activism, even if it doesn't feel that way, because a lot of people are going to put on the news of their choice, right? And I'm also guilty of that. I have certain stations and certain things that I like to watch. But when you put on a movie or a TV show or you go to the theater, you don't necessarily choose that for any sort of political reason or affiliation. But inherently, you're watching someone's journey and their life experience and just getting a peek into who they are as a person. That's empathy. That's going to change you without you even knowing, or needing to choose a soapbox to stand on. It's just a human story. And so it's all secretly activism.
I love
just
that
like
you
guerrilla.
I love that you say that, because there's a big conversation going on around lately where actors are saying, like, smart, intelligent actors like Ethan Hawke are saying that his work isn't political. And I'm like, you just starred as a gay man in Blue Moon. Like, that is inherently a political story. So I love that you are not shying away from that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that the projects one chooses and when they choose them in their career, that's why I really admire certain actors and certain actors' careers. They choose certain things that are just exciting at the right time. And all of those choices to me send a message.
Yeah. Thank you, Robbie. Well, we have something else that we have to talk about, right, pretty much up front, which is your engagement. Congratulations.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
You were covered
so
in
excited.
people.
Yeah.
Let me see the ring. Oh, beautiful.
So I proposed to him, and then this is something we're coming up with a lot right now, is like the tradition of marriage, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, because already we're kind of outside of the norm with, like, you know, me proposing to my boyfriend, now fiance. And so I gave him the ring. And then like an hour later, he's like, well, when do I give you the ring? And I said, well, I guess whenever you want, or whenever we want to. And I joked, I said, I don't know, it's kind of fun that like I'm going to be out with you and you got a ring on and I don't. And he walked right over to Tiffany and bought me a ring.
Oh my goodness. See, as a Libra, I like that balance.
Totally.
I'm into that. But you're kind of bearing the lead because this was a big proposal. Would you talk a little bit about all of the pieces that were involved in this like really grand gesture proposal?
Yeah, absolutely. I was really unsure of how I wanted to do it. And there were some things that came up around the Christmas season and Hallmark and doing it then. And it never felt quite right. And I knew that I wanted to do something really special and an experience. And like, we love food and we love a nice dinner, but I didn't want to do it at a dinner. I wanted to do it like more of an adventure. And I just was in Australia for the first 2 months of the year working on this play called Afterglow. And I really wasn't planning to do it in Australia, but I got off the airplane and just started walking around Sydney and just thought, this is one of the most magical places I have ever been. There's just something in the air. The people are wonderful. It is gorgeous. And then Kyle was planning to visit and I just thought, this is the time to do it. So I did it in a Sydney Seaplane. So it was like a little propeller plane.
Do you hear this guy?
Kyle thought that we were just taking pictures in front of the plane, but actually the staff were all taking videos. And so then I just turned to him and proposed, and he was so caught off guard, which is like secretly what I wanted, you know, because he doesn't love surprises. So he always like has like figures out like what's going on. But he was surprised. And then we were whisked off in the Sydney Seaplane, and it brought us to this incredible lunch that we had and by the water, and it just was so beautiful. And then it flew us back, and then we went and climbed the Sydney Harbour Bridge that night, which is that beautiful bridge overlooking the Opera House. And it just was honestly the best day, and I wish I could like relive it like every day.
So Robbie Simpson is basically living a Hallmark movie.
It feels that way. And it's honestly because of Kyle, and he's just the most wonderful and the best, and just feel so proud and so happy to have found that person, because that's something that I think everyone thinks about, whether you're gay or straight, or, you know, when you're gay, you kind of think a little bit more about like, will that ever happen for me? And I've just always felt a little bit more traditional. Like I always knew that I wanted to get married. I always knew that I wanted to have a family, but just always felt like, how will that happen? What will that look like? And so it feels really good. And it feels really good to share it with people, because so many people reaching out through the Hallmark show, you know, started following my journey, or I think they're also asking themselves those questions, like what might partnership look like for me, especially if they're not in a major city and they're in a more rural area and there's not as much access. So it feels exciting to be able to share that and show them like it's totally possible and you can find your person as well.
Yeah. Well, would you share a little bit about when you knew that you were ready to propose, or when this was the person you wanted to marry?
Yeah, it's a really good question. And I think I just knew really fast. Like I'd always been in long relationships, so it's not like this was something new for me.
Yeah.
But
you're like a lesbian.
Completely, absolutely. My last 2 relationships, we moved right in together.
Serial monogamy, U-Hauls.
Yes, totally, absolutely. Yeah. So it's not like this was a longer relationship, and I just thought like, oh my gosh, like I'm gonna propose. I knew really early on because of how he saw the world and how he changed and adapted in life. And I think like partnership is about changing together and realizing that like that version of the person you fell in love with is not going to be the same person in 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years. Right. And it's more important to see how does that person learn and adapt in the world around them? How do they take criticism? How do they handle the good moments? How do they handle the hard moments? And I just loved the way he saw the world and how he changed with the world and thought that's a person that I want to grow and change with.
I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you touched on, kind of the ability to marry, which of course 11 years ago was not the law of the land in this country. And, there have been threats that it may be taken away. So would you talk about what it means to you to be able to marry in this country and to kind of model that for young queer people?
It's an absolute joy, and I think about it all the time. And I grew up in Massachusetts, and I'm very proud of Massachusetts. They're
leading the way.
Absolutely. So it's always felt like, and you know what's sad? It's always felt like something that was going to happen, and I was never worried about it. And I remember the night that it was federally legalized in New York. I mean, it was just like the most fabulous celebration. Yeah. And I've never thought that it might not happen until this past year.
Wow.
And then started to think very seriously and had very serious conversations with Kyle about like, what if it was taken away? Like, what would we do? And I just think it's important for folks to not shy away from, if that's what they choose to do. Marriage is not for everybody. Not everybody wants to be married, but to not shy away from that and to not be scared of what might happen or not be scared of what their family might think or their friends, because it's an act of joy and it's not rebellious, but it feels like we're doing something that is important and meaningful. I mean, there are so many generations of gay men before me that were not able to do that. Right. And like, I feel like we are holding all of these wonderful queer pioneers on our back, like as we move through the world and as we move through society. And like, it's important for me to do this because, hopefully people are inspired and they feel proud of the change that has happened in the world. And also to show people like, you can also do this. Don't be scared of it. Right. Now it's being made political. Now it's being weaponized right now, but it's an act of joy and we should be treating it that way. And so every way that I want to express it is going to be joyful and fun. And I'm going to throw a really fun, kick-ass party wedding.
Good. I love this.
Yeah.
When are you planning it for?
I think fall of 2027. We really want to get married in the fall. We want to do it in the Berkshires in Massachusetts. Such a beautiful area that I grew up in and like, always wanted to leave. And I wanted to go to New York and LA. Or Great Barrington, Stockbridge.
Lennox or something.
Yes. Yeah, okay. Oh my gosh. It is just so gorgeous up there.
Yeah.
But now the area that I grew up in that I wanted to leave, I can't wait to go back to. I go back and visit my family all the time. And yeah. So
Robbie and I grew up, I don't know, maybe 50 miles from each other.
Yep.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
I like hearing you talk about marriage as this joyful event because I'm a different generation from you. And I think part of me always sabotaged my relationships because I couldn't picture it. I couldn't picture it. I had no vision of what a future with somebody could look like because I didn't have a roadmap. And now I'm older and now I can picture it. But when I was younger, I just was like, sabotage left and right. Yeah.
Absolutely. Because I mean, you and the other folks in your community, like your age, like you were pioneering that really because it wasn't legal before. So absolutely like not having that roadmap. And some gay men feel, in my generation, feel the same way because so many gay men, the generation older than us, passed away.
They were dying.
Died. And so a lot of us are trying to have to figure out like what our roadmap is and what do we want.
Because they were trying to survive.
100%.
They weren't like a lot of them weren't thinking about like marriage because they were just trying to live. And also fighting for like hate crimes bills and things like that, just for basic civil.
Absolutely.
Existence.
Right.
Yeah.
And now I am so grateful to be living in a time that I am benefiting from all of the incredible hard work that has been done. And it's so important to be learning that and to be understanding it and to be teaching that. I just went to see a fabulous production of The Normal Heart in Sydney. And I just feel like sometimes we can say, oh my gosh, those stories are so hard to watch. And yes, they are. But like every time I watch them, like I am learning new things. And we have to be learning and understanding and appreciating because it's what is making, for example, this marriage just feel even more beautiful. What do you think? I'm curious for you, like what changed for you that you could start picturing marriage? Or like, was there an event or a person or?
No, I mean, I've had some great love in my life over the years. I have been single for a while now, so that has given me perspective. And then also age, and I mean, seeing that like we're surviving. I'm out here doing it. It's it's tough with everything that's going on with this administration. Worried about especially vulnerable people in the LGBTQ plus community, people in red states and trans folks and BIPOC people especially. I have relative privilege as a white cisgender lesbian. So I just think that I got to a point where I want something. You're going to make me cry.
I love that though.
I didn't want to continue to deny myself. So I'm open now in a way that I hadn't been. Yeah, you got me.
Well, I love that. I think that's beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. You totally threw me, Robbie.
Well, I love that answer.
Well, we are at my central question of the podcast, which you've already been kind of going around because we're talking about art and activism. And so, as you know, I went viral for talking about the lyrics of Defying Gravity.
And I love that. So I loved it so much, Tracy. It was one of my most important events. It was so wonderful.
Thank you. Because it was really born out of this kind of, marriage of politics and art. And the fact that Cynthia was singing this song 2 days after the presidential election. And, as a Black queer woman, here's this woman embodying Elphaba and singing this song that means so much to so many people. So my central question, to be succinct, is what is your Defying Gravity? That piece of music, TV, literature, art, whatever it is that has been with you throughout your life and continues to change over time as you change.
I love this question and I love how you frame it. And I'm a fan of the podcast, so I knew this was coming. And,
Good.
And, unfortunately, fortunately, I'm going to give you an answer that has already been said on your podcast. I just think that reinforces just what an important piece of work it is. And it was like, it's the only answer to this question that I could give you authentically. And that is the musical Rent.
Yes, Nicole Payson said it.
Yeah, yes. Absolutely. I just feel like that was for me the first time. And I was in high school when I was discovering Rent, but it was the first thing that I saw that I felt like, oh my gosh, like I'm being represented, or like it was my, we call it the Ring of Keys moment. Do you know what that, if I'm to say that?
Excuse me, I am a theater queen.
I know. So that was my Ring of Keys moment. And not that I'm, a heroin addict living in the East Village. You know what I mean? Right, it's not like I'm that, but I just thought, oh my gosh, like they're talking about things and saying them in such beautiful ways. Jonathan Larson's lyrics that it's actually like how I started to feel comfortable coming out of the closet.
It was important.
It's so important. And I grew up in Western Massachusetts, and my best friend also was coming out as a lesbian, and her father worked for the Amtrak train station. And so on the weekends, our senior year, we would jump down to New York when Rent was still running for free on the Amtrak train. And of course, Rent pioneered the $20 rush ticket. And so we would get a $20 rush ticket, and sometimes we would see both shows that day, a matinee and a night show, and we would get like McDonald's for like $6. And it was like the best day. And we would connect with other queer people that were also coming out of the closet or finding themselves. And it was just so, so important to me. So I won't say on camera how many times I saw Rent on Broadway, but it was many, many, many times.
Do you know the number?
I think it's somewhere in the upper 20s. And that's just Broadway. Okay. So I know, and then here I just outed
Broadway.
myself.
Have you been in Rent?
I did get to do Rent. I graduated from college from Syracuse University, and then I actually got to do it with my best friend from college. We went up to New Hampshire and did a summer stock production of Rent. And
where was the summer stock?
It was Lincoln, New Hampshire.
Yeah.
And it was at the Paper Mill Theater.
Yes,
and
of course.
So many of those, of course, people that I did that production with are some of my best friends today. One of them came to visit me in Australia, and it just was, it continues to show up in my life as this beautiful thing that I keep learning from.
I love this. Thank you.
Yeah.
I never watched Rent.
I know that. I was going to ask you, JOÁO, what's your experience with Rent? You haven't even seen the movie?
I haven't even seen. I know that there's a song, right? There's nothing going on but the rent.
Oh my gosh. Yes.
That's
with me. That's
you know what? 80s.
You know what I'll tell you though? Don't watch the movie the movie that they made wonderful. I actually really love it. Watch Rent filmed live on Broadway. They filmed the last performance of Rent filmed live on Broadway with Renee Lee Goldsberry from Hamilton, Adam Cantor, Eden Espinoza, Tracy Toms. I mean, just like the most incredible cast. It's filmed in a beautiful way. I watch it once a year, kind of like my holy grail retreat to just like come back to it. And it's like so just beautiful. And to have gotten to be friends with a lot of those folks that were in that, now as you go through the industry, everyone knows everyone, and getting to know them has just been like such a fun thing. And I love that it lives on in that way. So watch the last performance filmed live.
I will do the homework.
Yeah, do that. JOÁO. And then we can be friends again.
Did you know Rent? You Rent? Yeah,
of course, yes. But I mean, I'm obsessed with Renee Elise Goldsberry. I mean, come on, from Girls Five Eva.
Oh my gosh, so brilliant.
Genius. I wondered though, for folks who don't know the Ring of Keys reference, if you would explain that to people.
Absolutely. There is a beautiful musical called Fun Home, and it won the Tony Award probably about a decade ago now.
2016, I think.
Yes. Oh my gosh, great.
Or was that Hamilton year?
2016 was
right
Hamilton.
Around the same time.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it was right before.
2015.
Hamilton. Yes. And there's a song called Ring of Keys, and you must insert the song here. No, you must listen to the song. It's so beautiful, but it's basically a song to me about the theme of identification.
Yeah.
It's the first time this young girl, I mean, she's probably about 10 years old, sees someone walk into a diner or a cafe, and she sees her just dressed in a more masculine way.
She's a butch, an old-fashioned butch.
Yep. And she has like her ring of keys that, she's a maintenance worker or something like that. And she sees the keys dangling, and she just is so fascinated by her ring of keys. Yeah. And she has this beautiful identification moment that for the first time, like, that's me, or that's what I could be, or that's how I feel, or that's how I want to identify in the world. Yeah. And so it's just become like this pop culture reference of like, oh, that's my ring of keys moment.
Yeah, I use it.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say about the Rent movie, I really appreciated it because it came out in the early aughts. And at that time, it was like HIV/AIDS happened in the 80s and 90s. And then there were movies and TV shows that touched on it, plays, obviously. But then there was a dearth of art about HIV/AIDS. Like it didn't happen because people just didn't want to talk about it after a while. And so when Rent came out, the movie, and I got to see that in the theater, I was actually really moved that, obviously that's part of the story of Rent, but that it was on the big screen again.
It's so important. And I think my full-time job and what I do back in New York is I run creative development for a theatrical production company. And so we're really interested in queer plays, gay theater, just anything that feels fringy, just like really making it on the forefront. And there's this big conversation right now that's happening in theater about not centering all gay stories about the AIDS crisis. And I agree with a part of that statement. Like, our community is so much more than just this sad, devastating event that happened to us. And also, it's so important to keep telling those stories and keeping that education alive for a younger generation. Yeah. There was a beautiful play that came out right before the pandemic called The Inheritance.
Yes, I haven't seen it. I'm
oh my gosh, so gorgeous. And it's just like theater at its best, where it takes place, in different times, in different time periods.
Yeah.
And
it's Matthew Lopez?
Matthew Lopez.
Yeah.
And it's just a beautiful way of celebrating the joy and what it means to be gay and to be proud, but then also giving a really wonderful education to what has happened before and to honor and to hold space for those folks that were pioneers and that were able to create change for us to be healthy today.
Right. All of that. And then also to go back and look at the way they resisted that was effective. In, protesting today is not as effective as a lot of what HIV AIDS activists were doing. And so it's really a blueprint for how to be an activist in some ways too.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I just think about what these men were doing. I mean, sometimes I think, and I'm probably guilty of this myself, like when I'll go march and I'm going to do my activism, and then you kind of go back to your life.
Yeah.
But these people, it was their life.
Yeah.
I mean, if you haven't seen the film of The Normal Heart that they did on HBO, please go watch that. It's it's incredible. It's so beautiful. And it gives you a real glimpse into just how hard and what these people were up against.
Yeah. Well, I've enjoyed our first part of this conversation, Robbie, but we have to take a little break. I want to talk about something that's been on my mind, and then I want to tell you about the app that's helping with it. We spend so much time on this show talking about culture, about the people creating it, about what it means to be alive and paying attention right now. But here's the thing. We're all fighting for that attention every single day. And our kids, they're fighting a $200 billion industry designed by the smartest engineers in the world to keep them scrolling. It's not a fair fight. That's why I love JOÄO. It's an app where parents fund a weekly goal and teens actually earn money for staying under their screen time target. No battles, no parental controls they crack in 5 minutes, just real stakes and real rewards. And here's a fun fact. JOÄO's founder, Corey Sholabo, and I actually go way back through The Advocate. So this one feels personal. Go to JOÄO.co and use code Tracy for 1 month free and hold space for yourself and your kids. And we are back with our guest, Robbie Simpson. I want to go back a little bit, Robbie, and we've talked a little bit about where you grew up, but would you tell me a little bit more about growing up near Springfield? West Springfield is where you grew up? Tell me a little bit more about your childhood.
Yeah, it definitely was one of those places that I wanted to leave and get out, right away. But now that I've gone back, spoiler alert, it's actually wonderful and it's so beautiful. But I am an only child and have had two wonderful parents. My mom passed about 10 years ago.
I'm sorry.
But I have a really wonderful father. I was blessed with two parents, so he's absolutely fantastic. And I was in the arts like really fast from an early age because and I've been thinking a lot about this lately, like was trying so hard to fit in. Like I just like wanted to fit in. I kind of like wanted for a while to feel not invisible, but not like I was sticking out. And I just felt like I was. Like I just was interested in art. I was interested in dressing up. I was interested in listening to Judy Garland. I was interested in
same, but
watching Shirley Temple movies and like like I would play sports and everything and had some really wonderful friends, but I just like always knew that like just something didn't feel right. And it wasn't like being gay. And I don't really know how to describe it. It just was like who I was or who I was like, the interest that I had. And as soon as I went into a community theater rehearsal and met those people and met the directors and the adults that were around me, I just thought like, oh my gosh, this is it. Like, I just feel like at peace. I feel at home. I came out of my shell. I just loved it. I wanted to work so hard at it. I thought about it day and night. And then those people became my tribe and my friends. And I never looked back. And then my mom was really wonderful. She encouraged me to do more theater. And there was a lot of wonderful opportunity because it's like the Berkshires area. So there's a lot of like arts and support for the arts.
So much going on over there.
Totally. And music. And then we would go see the touring productions at the Bushnell in Hartford.
Yes, I had seen many.
Yes, which was so important to me. And I have such an appreciation for national touring companies and these musicals because not everybody can make it to New York. And so these touring companies are just so important because they're bringing Broadway class entertainment to to the regions, and it changed my life, and I know it's changing so many others. So yeah, and then I went to Syracuse University for a BFA in acting, and my parents were like really supportive and like wanted me to do that. I think because they saw I loved working in the regions. I think regional theater is so important. It's like the lifeblood for like everything else that we're doing. And I worked with some really wonderful adult actors who were not famous, but talked to my parents about the actors union and health insurance and your pension. And these people had families and lives and also the thing that they loved. And we're jumping around from different jobs, or we're learning different things within theater, like you're directing and you're acting. And I think that they really helped my parents understand that like a career and life in the theater was possible. And I'm so grateful for those people, and try to be that for other kids as well now.
Yeah, there's so many incredible just working actors.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And you don't have to be famous to like be able to have that career. And
I started in queer media in Hartford for a local publication called Metroline Magazine.
Okay.
And I covered Hartford stage.
Yes.
Oh my God. That
Hartford stage theater, was like high art. Like when we would go to see shows at Hartford stage, it was like such unbelievable productions. And that production of A Christmas Carol is like still running there.
Oh, they still do it. I know.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love that. And it's just, just like so cementing that like regional theaters are so important, and there's so much culture happening.
And we also had Theater Works, which was a really good one too. So yeah, it covered a lot of that stuff.
Oh my gosh. I love that. Yeah.
What was your first role in community theater?
My first role in community theater, gosh, it's like hard to say. I think it was this like kids production called The Magic Cloak at the Red Door Theater. And you know, that artistic director, he just passed away. His name was Lyle Pearsons, but like he was such a mentor and such a wonderful person. And I just feel I'm so strongly about mentorship too. I run a musical theater program back in New York, and teaching is something that I didn't know that I needed or wanted. Like it wasn't really kind of on my bingo card to like run a musical theater program, but it's actually the thing that like fills me up. Like I feel like teaching and my work at Stella Adler like really fills my tank up so that I can kind of go into the industry and, to be completely honest, bleed it dry. Do you know, like a lot of this business, theater, television, being an actor, it's so difficult and it's really hard. And I think you need to make sure that your tank is filled with whatever you fill it with, like theater, art, music, your friends, good food. And for me, it's teaching that like fills me up so that I can go out and continue to sustain a career in a industry that is quite difficult. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's, I don't know, just being here in LA, it feels like it's getting more difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think people have to diversify and like think about what they're doing, but I don't think that's a bad thing. Like for a long time, especially before the pandemic, like I knew I wanted to be an actor, but I also wanted to direct. And in the industry, sometimes that can be very, oh, well, you have to pick one thing. Or if you're directing, I don't take you seriously as an actor. And the people that I really admired were like Joe Mantello and Michael Arden, people that had these really wonderful full.
Tracy, well, no, he's a playwright. Sorry.
Yes, but also acts. And had these full rich careers, but it was really hard for me to feel like I could do that. But after the pandemic, when you had to do more than one thing, I had a podcast during the pandemic. I started teaching a little bit more. It was called The Breakdown with Robbie. And I interviewed casting directors and agents and managers about the business, because I just think the business can be so elusive sometimes. That after the pandemic, people had, you know, they could do more than one thing or say they were doing more than one thing. And now, like you were just saying, I think we have to do more than one thing, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. I think they can all feed each other and kind of empower each other. And so it's an interesting time. But sorry, I brought us back to like the business or something like that. But
it's okay.
But anyway, growing up in community theater and everything, and then I found a really wonderful theater that paid me to do shows. Like it was an equity theater, and so when I was in high school, I
imagine that. Getting paid to do what you love, what?
I know. But it also like, I think that instilled like when I was in high school, like a sense of like professionalism, and that like what you are owed and like how you should be taken care of and
how you should show up in the world.
Absolutely. And then also that's when I was meeting all of these wonderful actors that were doing this for a living and had families, and then the rest was history.
Yeah. Great. JOÁO, have you been paid to do what you love?
I've been paid to love.
I love that.
Now this is holding space after dark.
No, I've been paid. But it's getting more difficult each day, especially in this industry. But I think it's important that also artists get paid, because a lot of the things we do sometimes is for the next thing.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes people can pay us, but they use that as some way to not pay us because they know you're going to want the next thing.
Yeah.
And I think that happens backstage as well, in behind the camera, in front of the camera. So it's something that we should be aware. And I think, sometimes the bare minimum is what it's okay for a day,
Yeah, it's interesting.
What was it for you? Like, do you remember your first thing that you wrote or media thing that you were paid for? Because I think that's like a big moment of like feeling
I wasn't paid for it. I did do it for free. What was the first thing I got paid for? Well, the first thing I was paid for that was kind of a really big deal to me was I wrote a story for Curve magazine, which was the national lesbian publication at the time.
Yes.
And for Metroline, I had gotten a pitch for this actress, Rachel Shelley, who was on the L Word second season.
Okay.
Did you watch the L Word?
I watched part of the L Word, but not
So she was the beautiful English woman.
Okay. I
Helena.
think I know. Yes, okay.
And so I interviewed Rachel for Metroline, and then I thought, well, this is bigger than that. Let me pitch Curve, and then I can go back and do another interview with her, a deeper one if I need to. And so they took that. And so my first really big kind of recognition was my interview with Rachel Shelley, which is lovely because she's in England. She has produced some podcasts here. She's asked me to be on a couple of her podcasts. And I was in London in 2023 at my ex-girlfriend's wedding.
Oh my gosh.
As lesbians do.
Wow.
Yes.
I know. I'm like, should I be inviting my exes to my wedding? Well,
It depends on how close you are.
Okay, good.
This ex and I remained very close. But I reached out to Rachel and said, just kind of on a whim, I said, Rachel, I've really enjoyed, interviewing you over the past years and, kind of working back and forth. Would you be up for coffee? And so we met at Soho House in Notting Hill. And, and I was like, oh my God, myself 20 years ago or 18 years ago would have been losing her mind. I was sitting there in Hartford, writing stories. I was an actor for a while too. So just wishing I were a star. And just to be sitting there with this incredible actor and a human from a show that kind of changed my life, I was a little blown away.
Wow.
Yeah. So it was something.
Yeah, that's so special. And I love that like it came full circle to like this friendship. That's really nice.
Yeah, we're like on a level now. It's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's also just nice when the people like you admired so much or like you grew up really watching end up being really wonderful people in real life too.
Oh, she's a sweetheart. Yeah. And she's not part of the community. She's just one of the best allies. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Which is really cool. And then I've also I've worked alongside Jennifer Beals a few times now, which is kind of a dream come true.
Totally.
Like, yeah. So sometimes I look at my life and I'm like, I really need to be grateful for that because I have to think about who I was and the things I've done and just be really appreciative of the opportunities that I've had.
Oh my gosh. And then Tracy, you were part of like the biggest cultural moment of 2025. Like, I mean, it was kind of insane, like how it just kept blowing up and like evolving and you know what? And I think like the huge positive thing that came out of that cultural moment is like literally the words holding space. Like now people are talking about what it means to hold space.
Right.
And in a world where we're like, go, 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 and immediate gratification and like and Instagram and like, let me get your hot take or how do you feel about this? It's like, actually, why don't we just hold some space?
Why don't we have a conversation?
Completely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a ride that I knew to lean into it, but it was so wild while it was happening. I mean, suddenly I went to a bar in West Hollywood on the Sunday between Christmas and New Year's. And I had already been at a pop star karaoke brunch for a friend.
Fun.
Had a couple drinks, but ironically it was a brunch, but I actually didn't get much to eat. So a friend said, we're going to the Boulevard. You want to come? And usually a second location is not good. Anyway, I went. And my friend bought me a drink, and I was standing at the bar waiting, and this guy clocked me and lost his mind. Oh my God, it's you. It's you. And so for the next 2 hours, it was just lights, cameras, people in my face. And I was cool. Like I was like, yeah, let's build this community.
Yes.
I'm here for this, right? Because it's bringing people joy. And of course, there were naysayers and people who thought that Cynthia and Ariana and I were nuts and, out of touch. And it wasn't for them.
100%.
It just wasn't for them. And not everything is for you. Not everything's for you.
Yes. Yes. And if it is, then if we're trying to please everyone, then it's not art. Do you know what I'm saying? Then you're not trying to say something. You're not trying to do something. You're just trying to be liked.
Yeah.
Do you know? And so, yes, there should be people that don't like it, but think about all of those people who wanted to take your picture because it meant something to them. They loved that.
It means something. So I'm still here for it. And
love it.
I'm just going to tell you one little thing because I think you'll appreciate this. One of my favorite things to have come out of this. Did you see that the New York City Gay Men's Chorus did that warm up?
100%. Yes.
So I met with them last June. I went to their performance, Heal Me at the Disco. They asked to take a picture with me ahead of time. And when I got on stage to take a picture, they made me an honorary member of the New York City Gay Men's Chorus.
Oh my gosh. And
which
you're like, what is my life?
I am proudest of in my life.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's incredible.
Yeah.
Especially because you love New York City so much.
I love New York City. I love gay men.
Oh my gosh, that's so wonderful. Yeah, that video of them singing was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. We should find that, JOÁO.
Yes.
Have you seen that one?
Yes, I'm doing the notes right now.
Okay, good.
For us to find it, put it there, and do the whole thing.
Love it.
So we got a little off track, but I'm loving chatting with you, Robbie.
Same, me too.
Yeah, good. Want to talk a little bit about being out in Hollywood, and you've been out since the beginning of your career. What was that like for you to walk into rooms, being an out man?
It's an interesting question because yes, I've never hid my sexuality. I've always been open about it. But I remember getting out of grad school and looking at showcasing specifically. And when you leave one of these big grad programs,
right,
all the agents are showing up.
Where
all
did
of
you
the
go to
casting
grad
directors, the Old Globe in San Diego.
Oh yeah.
So there were 7 of us, and I remember distinctly not wanting to do a scene that was gay then for me. And it was an interesting decision that I look back on now and I just really wonder about that. And so much of what I was doing then in classical theater were straight roles. Do you know, if it's just Shakespeare or it's Shaw, do you know, they just weren't, even though men were playing the women's roles, they weren't just writing stories that way. And I found myself, I think it just led to some interesting decisions early on in my career that just didn't really feel totally authentic. And I don't mean not because I was playing gay roles, but there was just a disconnect happening that was really interesting. And then I really just had this big awakening of I don't want to play straight role. I don't want to play them anymore, but I really need to play a gay man. I just want to feel when I'm on stage or on camera, I'm not watching myself. And I think a lot of gay actors will say when you're playing a straight role, you just have to, you're always watching yourself a little bit because you just don't want to tell that specific story of that sexuality. And so I just really started talking about it and manifesting it and saying I really want to tell a gay story. And I talked to my manager about it. And the next day he had an audition for this play called Afterglow.
Yeah.
And it was a really unknown team. It was a new project. And I said, you know what? Yes, let's go for it. I want to do it. And I ended up getting that job, and it was supposed to run for 2 months off Broadway in the summer of 2017. And it caught fire and became like this cultural moment, and it ran for a year and a half at the Davenport Theater on 45th Street off Broadway. And now it has been done all over the world. And I was a part of the production that happened here in LA on the creative team. And then we did it in London. And then now I'm on the producing and creative team for the Australian production, which we have 2 shows going on in Australia right now. And it's taken off, and it just was probably the biggest thing for me. It was like a bigger break for me back in New York.
Yeah.
And it really just came out of me saying like, you know what? I'm just needing to be myself. And I'm just like needing to be more authentic and intentional with the stories that I'm telling. And then like, look what happened. You know, like that, like that's always going to happen. But it just was important. And in terms of like visibility of being gay, you know, you always wonder about the conversations that happen behind closed doors, or you always wonder about like the things that didn't happen because I was gay. And I'm sure that, you know, there are things that have not happened, and I've not been brought in for things because of my sexuality, but I'm choosing to look at all of the things that have happened because of my sexuality. You know, it made me special. It made me unique. Like it's part of my story. Like I have an authenticity on the subject that I've been able to share. And then it's been really wonderful to see people relating to that and you know, being excited about that. And then it leads to just other things. So like what we said before, like not everything is for you.
Right.
Do you know? Yeah. And I just have to keep telling myself
who wants to watch heterosexual love stories anyway? Or
oh my gosh.
I know I don't.
Yeah, well, you know, sometimes I'm watching like, you know, and I'm like, well, I'm so into it because love stories are love stories are love stories.
There's some that I,
do you know? Yeah. And it's just when it doesn't feel like, it's just when it has to just feel real. It just has to feel authentic, do you know? And if you're not connecting with something, it's probably because, do you know, there's something about it that's not feeling true. Yeah. So.
You kind of mentioned you didn't know what might be going on behind closed doors in decision making. Do you think casting directors in Hollywood still have a stigma around whether or not gay men can play straight?
100%. Yeah. I think that's definitely happening. And I'm going to say, like, during the pandemic, there was a reckoning in our business about racial equality, gender equality, all sorts of things that needed to be talked about and subjects that needed to be talked about. And I think that the business shifted in a way that feels positive, but I feel like a lot of it is really the same as it's always been. And I'm just going to go ahead and say that because I think that there's more performative decisions that are being made. But I think if we're looking at the true nuts and bolts and the real conversations that are happening, I think absolutely that is still happening. Yeah. I think what's wonderful is that there are so many gay actors now that have become A-listers. And I think that they're, you know, like people like Matt Bomer and Jesse Tyler Ferguson and Andrew Reynolds, like those people are really bursting the door open.
Jonathan Bailey.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Jonathan Bailey, Jonathan Groff, like all of these wonderful, incredible gay actors are really opening up those doors. So people like myself can also get up and like start to walk through them. And it's really exciting.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have to be sure that we talk about Finding Mr. Christmas.
Yes.
And Hallmark. You were the only gay contestant on Finding Mr. Christmas.
Yes, which was, it was really wonderful because honestly, Jonathan Bennett is a huge, he's gay.
Aaron Samuels from Mean Girls.
yes, totally. Had such a crush on him when he was in Mean Girls.
Yes.
And now to like be friends with him and have him be a mentor to me and to have him welcome me onto the show was really wonderful. So I was the only gay contestant, which felt really exciting. Like I could really represent, like our community. It's a little daunting, but also having Jonathan there to mentor and to help was just really wonderful.
Yeah. Would you talk a little bit about the process of being on that show and also, just being with all these guys who are manifesting Christmas and what it was like hanging out with all of them?
Yeah. And to like be honest, like, and this is not a canned answer, like it was one of the best 2.5 week periods of my entire life. Yeah. And actually all the guys, we got together last night and we're still like extremely close. They're so wonderful. It's such a brotherhood and they were celebrating, my engagement and it's really special. I think that Hallmark has for the past few years been telling queer stories.
Yes.
And there's a really wonderful...
It's about 2020, I think.
Yeah. There's a really wonderful movie that's up for a GLAAD award called The Christmas Baby with Ali Liebert. And
is that Ali Liebert and, oh God, what's her name from Winona Earp? Kat Burrell?
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm. Who was queer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And so I was always welcome to talk about who I am and my experience and talk about my partner, Kyle. And I felt so grateful to have a platform to be able to do that within this show and to have all of these guys be really welcoming and kind to me. And it was really exciting because, yes, it's a competition show, but those shows work because it's really getting to know who we are and like getting to know the guys. And, it's their search for the next leading man. And so they want to get to know the person beyond the scenes or the script. And so there was so many opportunities for us to connect and talk and to share our journeys, because I think sometimes like reality TV, and I'll say this like as someone who's in the theater and like has a classical degree in acting, it can be like put down a little bit for, art's sake. But I'll say I've always loved reality television. I'm a huge fan of reality TV. When I get home at night, like it's hard for me to watch like, deep narrative television because like I just need to relax.
Yeah.
And I'll also say that what I learned doing the show is that sometimes people can connect to reality TV a little bit more because those people are telling the truth. Like when I'm telling my story, like that's my story.
That's your
like,
story.
I didn't write that down and like rehearse it and, do a scene. Like when I'm talking about my partner or explaining like my relationship with my mom to some of these guys on the show, like that's real. And I think people really connect to real stories. And so it's really wonderful to like mix the Hallmark, all the wonderful things they do well with reality TV, and it's really exciting to be a part of it.
Yeah. Would you talk a little bit more about like Jonathan Bennett's career and kind of what he's done for queer representation, especially in that realm of queer Christmas on Hallmark?
I love queer Christmas Hallmark. Yes, totally. Jonathan, I mean, if you're gay and you're in this business, like who he is, because as someone who was and is like just an A-lister movie star doing Mean Girls and all of these really wonderful movies, for him to then come out of the closet and not just inhabit gay roles, but he is producing, he's directing, he is really like on the forefront, all of his work with GLAAD, just like really making sure that like gay, lesbian, trans, all of these wonderful stories are being told and they're being represented, especially in a time when they're being taken away. So I have always followed his career. I saw him on Broadway when he did Spam-A-Lot. And, to be the one gay person to be picked by him, to have like been on the show, was just like, when I was going through the audition process, which was like just the most intense audition process in the entire world. Oh my gosh. So many phone calls, so many interviews, so many Zooms. There was like a conversation with a psychiatrist. There was like so much that went into it because they really are investing in all of us. They were investing a lot of money and a lot of time in the 10 of us.
Yeah, they do a psych eval.
Yes. Yeah. Yep, they do.
I can't say why, but I did have to go through one of those for this little project that I did.
Yeah.
It's not out yet, but.
And let me tell you, it makes sense. And like as a producer and a director, like sometimes I wish I could put like all my actors through psych evals. You just have to spend a lot of time together, and it's important that all of the personalities really gel. But they did a good job because the other 9 guys were incredibly wonderful and welcoming. And now I like genuinely feel like I have 9 brothers from the experience. And,
I love that.
It was so nice to just, because when I saw them last night, it had nothing to do with us needing to do press for the show or anything like that. It just was because we wanted to get together.
You hung out with them here in LA. That's fun.
Yeah.
I love that. Were you at all relieved?
I think if most Hollywood actors go to the psych evaluation, they won't get a lot of jobs.
Well, I was going to say, because I did a psych eval for this project that I did. It's not out yet. Small. But I was actually kind of relieved. I was a little worried, like, are they going to find something wrong with me?
I know. The questions are like kind of wild. And
yeah, I was like,
I know.
So I didn't pass my psych evaluation for this job, Tracy.
That tracks,
Perfect.
JOÁO. It's why we get along.
I don't want to hang out with anyone who like passes a psych evaluation. Like boring.
My life needs to be more interesting.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite queer Christmas movie?
Do I have a favorite queer Christmas movie? You know what I will say is that, and I'm not just saying this, but like Jonathan's Hallmark movie that he did this year, it's called Keller Christmas Family Vacation. Keller Family Vacation. It's so beautiful because it's about him and his parents and them going on a trip together, and you kind of like don't know. There's like an undercurrent of like there might be something going on. And at the end you find out that the father has Alzheimer's. And it's just like a beautiful way to explore that incredibly devastating disease, but like through a Christmas movie. And it's just what I honestly have always appreciated about Hallmark. And I watch Hallmark movies with my mom, and is that they take some like really difficult subject matter. And Jonathan is so funny and the script is so wonderful that it like makes it in a palatable way and it makes you enjoy it. And like my father has been having some health issues lately, and I've been spending a little bit more time with him. And I don't know, it made me going through what I was going through feeling like, okay, I'm not alone. And also there's a lot of joy to still be had. And yeah, it was a good one. But let's be honest, Tracy, all Christmas movies are gay. Okay.
Yes,
like
they are.
My other favorite one, The Grinch. Okay. But like, come on, he's in drag. Like that is such a gay Christmas movie. So
well, first I do want to say I'm sorry you're going through stuff with your dad.
Oh, thanks.
And then I have to say, as it's compulsory, but as a lesbian, Carol is my favorite Christmas movie.
I didn't like, okay, that is a Christmas movie, right?
The falling in love takes place, like it begins like, I think it's probably the 19th of December. And then they go on the road trip from, I think it starts on Christmas Day and then it ends on New Year's Day, the road trip.
Okay.
So it's completely a holiday Christmas movie.
Okay, we'll let that pass, even though I'm not sure it's a Christmas movie. But I mean, it is called Carol, so.
I mean, and, you know, Therese wears the Santa hat.
Totally.
The iconography is Christmassy.
Yes. It's in the snow.
There's
a lot
snow.
of snow.
There's a Christmas tree.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's so funny.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, I love it. That makes sense.
But I watch Happiest Season every year, and I know it's a little controversial because it was a coming out story. A lot of people are like, we're tired of coming out stories.
I don't know that. What is that?
It's Clea Duvall.
Okay.
Directed, and it stars Kristen Stewart, Mackenzie Davis, Aubrey Plaza, Dan Levy.
Oh my gosh.
Victor Garber, Mary Steenburgen.
Now I'm understanding because I haven't seen
Brie.
it.
It's a great cast, and I liked it. I think, you know, it's a little controversial, but I love it. I watch it every year.
Okay, great. I'll throw it in my routine of Christmas movies.
Yeah, and then I'll have to check in with you.
Yes.
You mentioned Afterglow. I want to go back to that a little bit. So you're a producer with Midnight Theatricals?
Yes.
Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah. So it's been really wonderful. I've been working with this producing team on and off in a freelance way for like the past 9 years since I did Afterglow. And then last year we did a production called Scarlet Dreams together that was off Broadway in New York. And after that, I came on board with them full time to find new properties. So like I'm looking at different people that were interested in creating work around or finding new plays or the development of new plays, like in all different kinds of ways, whether it's like very new or stuff that is, already coming together. We did a really incredible, super queer musical on the West End in London this past year called Oscar at the Crown. And it just was about Oscar Wilde and talking about who he was, kind of like almost like in a documentary, like Hamilton kind of way, but then comparing him to the Housewives, like how he was like the original like social influencer. Do you know, like just who he was and like, and so it's just like super queer, super fun. And
with his fabulous young lover.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Yes. Bosie.
Lord Bosie.
Yes.
Alfred Bosie. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And so we work on these really wonderful, like interesting projects, and Afterglow is a huge one that just like keeps coming back. So and that's what I was up to in Australia.
I love that. Well, regarding Afterglow, JOÁO has seen it twice, so you're doing something right.
Yeah, I saw it twice.
Where?
Here in LA when they played, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that was like So it has been licensed like all over the world, like Mexico, Buenos Aires, Madrid. I mean, here in Salt Lake City and Fort Lauderdale. But then we've done our version. That version in LA at the Hudson Theater was the first kind of like replica production of the one that I did. So I wasn't in that one, but I was the...
I would remember if you were.
Of course. Yes, there is full frontal nudity in Afterglow.
Yeah.
But I was on the creative team there. So I was on the directing team and like really worked on that production. So
I had to go twice because I wanted to bring one of the guys home. So
that's so funny.
God.
How did it go?
It worked.
It worked.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Awesome. Yeah. It's just the show that like has continued to like spark conversation and people are like holding space for this play because it really talks about open relationships, polyamory in a way that like, 9 years ago, people, and even in the gay community, like people weren't really talking about their open relationships like as
more
much.
Fringe.
Yeah, for sure. And even like in your close friend groups, people like it wasn't as open as like certainly it is right now. Yeah. And then that summer, there was a huge article in the New York Times about straight relationships and opening their relationship and polyamory and everything. And it kind of just like hit this cultural moment. And then, we'd be leaving the stage door and people were like, I have to tell you my story. This happened to me or that happened to me or I've never seen it like spoken about in this way before, and so giving voice to those conversations, I mean, that's just the best. That's what we were talking about, like empathy in theater,
That's right. And
so
understanding. Yeah.
Totally. And so many straight people coming to see the show and being like, yep, that happened to me. Do you know? Or, it's interesting because when you're watching the show or, the set, there's all these big mirrors.
It's about 3 men, right? A couple.
Correct. And then there's a third that they meet.
Yeah.
Yes. And the set is mirrors and a lot of the conversations that are happening in the show and what they're talking about, they're talking about dating now with apps and how that changes everything and how we're never compromising, and sometimes during these conversations, we just see like couples like moving away from each other, or like some people like getting closer. Like it really is stirring up
a litmus
like a lot
test
of stuff.
of sort. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. And continues to do so. We're going to bring the show back to New York for a big 10th anniversary production next year, following this Australia one. And there's some other big plans, in the works. So it's something
I need to go. I need to see it.
Please.
It's a good play, Tracy. It's not just for the naked guys.
Okay. I mean, I'm into that. So I told you I was an actor for a while. And so I did a show around the country through Canada and the US called O Calcutta. It was it was on Broadway for 25 years.
Yes, I know of it.
Because there was full nudity in it.
Oh, wow.
Like not 100%, like 4 of the scenes had full nudity. So I too have been nude on stage.
Oh my gosh. We have that in common. That's so funny.
Yes, my favorite thing was going to places like Des Moines where they had the local crew guys. And of course, we're backstage nude, totally nude. And the local crew guys were just
oh
what
my
is
gosh.
going on? Yeah.
And do you remember what that was like for you? Like, by the time you got to performance, like, were you like totally cool with it? Were you fine? Or was it always like a little interesting? Or
we had a week of rehearsal, I think it was at the Public near Astor Place in New York. And we had a week of rehearsal and then we did our first show in Middletown, New York. And we hadn't been nude to that point. We did a dress rehearsal and they said dress rehearsal. And so that meant the scenes where there were no clothes. Yeah. And so they didn't make a meal out of it. And so it was just at that point, it was like, oh, fuck, we got to do this. We're in it now. When you're in a show, you're like, well, I got to do it. And so that kind of made it easier. But it was, it was difficult. I was in my early 20s. I wasn't, when I started at what I wanted to look like. So there was some pushback from, I think there was a reviewer in Detroit who noted that a couple of the women were maybe not thin, teeny tiny. This was a long time ago, but but it affected me. And then I changed that. And so that was the biggest thing, was like dealing with issues around my appearance was probably the biggest part for me. But once I got comfortable, it was like, we didn't care.
It's freeing. It gets to be empowering.
Yes. Yeah.
And then you're also telling a story. So it's like, there's like that part of it that like comes in.
Yes. Yeah. And then we were in Rochester, and the local nudist society, I guess, assumed that we were all nudists because we're in a nude play.
Oh my gosh.
So they invited us to hang out with them, which we did. And then they wanted to do a story on us for some nudist magazine and asked us to take photos on the bus because I guess they thought we were on our rock and roll bus just naked. So we did we did a nude photo shoot on the bus.
My gosh.
I was making coffee.
Oh my gosh.
Our producer was, he was just had the paper open. I mean, it was.
Oh, wow.
It was a hoot.
And do you still have these photos?
I don't know where they are.
We need to find it.
I know. What is it that like the late wonderful Catherine O'Hara says in Schitt's Creek? She's like, take those photos because when you're older, like you're going to be happy you have them.
You're going to wish it. Yeah. She says that to Alexis.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So good.
Yeah. Well, I hate to say this, but we are close to wrapping.
Oh no.
Robbie, we've talked a lot about what we're holding space for, but what are you no longer holding space for in 2026?
Wow, it's a good question.
That's JOÁO. He said, let's flip it.
Yeah, what am I not holding space for? Mm-hmm. I will say that I have family members that are not the same political ideology that I have. Mm-hmm. And that's obviously been very difficult because I love my family. And a lot of people say, how can you love and put up with people who really are supporting different things? And I've made the decision that for me, I'm going to choose to not engage with that because I've lost some family members. I feel I love these people. And so I'm choosing to hold on to them and continue to have relationships with them. But what I'm not holding space for is intolerance.
Yes.
And I'm not holding space for those people not also respecting that I have different beliefs and that they want to have a relationship with me. Do you know, it's a two-way street. Yeah. And I'm choosing to not talk about these things and to understand that that's not a conversation I'm wanting to have right now. But I know that that's a two-way street. And so I'm intolerance is what I'm not holding space for. We need to come to the table together. And it is both of us that need to show up and be kind and be considerate and be empathetic. And it is a two-way street there. And I also know that I need to have conversations. There's things that I just don't want to surround myself with people who always think like me. I do want to have deep conversations. But I think that there's a level of respect and tolerance that needs to be there from both sides. And I think that's the only way that we're going to move forward in the times that we're in.
Yeah, thank you.
So that was a complicated answer, but
it's okay.
I hope you understood what I was saying.
I did. It made sense. Yeah. Thank you. Okay, Robbie. So we're going to play Hold, Give, Drop. We are going to have you pick 3 items from this hat and then read them aloud.
Perfect.
You're going to pick 1 to keep for yourself, 1 to give to me, and 1 to toss.
Okay.
And the theme is Hallmark movie tropes.
Fun. Okay.
So that was JOÁO came up with that one.
Yes.
Yeah. So
because you're a Hallmark movie watcher.
Some.
Yeah.
I'm not, I don't watch them all, but yeah. So pick 3 and then read them each out and then tell me which you're going to do.
Okay. Oh, fun.
All right. Let's see.
Okay. The first one. Oh, the Christmas festival that must be saved. Oh, it must be saved. What will we do? The magical snow kiss. Ooh, I like that one. And the childhood crush, old flame.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to keep one for myself. I'm going to give one to you. And then we're going to let one go.
Yeah, toss one of them.
Okay. The one that I'm going to keep for myself is I'm so gay.
Yes.
The Christmas festival that must be saved.
Oh,
because
God.
I love saving the show and like putting on a show and like whatever, you know, we need to do to make the theater event happen, we're going to do. So I'm going to keep that for myself.
The Judy and Mickey of it all.
Yes. And the one that I'm going to give to you, Tracy, is the magical snow kiss.
I like this. Thank you.
Because of what we talked about a little bit at the beginning and what you may be ready for.
What I'm holding space for.
Yes, what you're holding space for in the next chapter of your life.
Yeah.
And so perhaps there's going to be a magical snow kiss, but not in LA because there's no snow in LA. So,
off the record, I have to leave LA to get any attention anyway. So it's just...
I get it. People here.
And so you're going to drop.
And so the childhood crush, Old Flame, I already got my man and he put a ring on it. So I'm going to let the childhood crush go.
I love it. The man that got away.
Yeah, and he can go. Yeah. But I'm excited about your magical snow kiss because it means that you need to come to maybe Massachusetts or Connecticut or New York and have that kiss in the snow there. So, and also I just want to hang out with you again. So I just really want you to come to the East Coast.
Well, I'm coming. I'll be there.
Great. We'll go see some shows together in New York.
Please.
Yeah.
Please. Robbie, this has been a pleasure. And where can people find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Mr. Robbie Simpson. And I'm on TikTok sometimes, although it's not a place I know well, but we'll see. We'll get to know. But Instagram's the place. Come say hey. And I post everything there. So
thank you so much for being here.
So happy to be here. I'm such a fan of the podcast. I'm so happy that you are holding space and giving us the space to have these conversations. And I just love that you took something that happened and you have continued to make it into a positive thing. And I appreciate you. We appreciate you. You're doing it very well.
Likewise. I appreciate all of you. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you for listening to Holding Space with Tracy E. Gilchrist. Holding Space is a main character production. It is hosted by me, Tracy E. Gilchrist, produced by JOÁO DALL'STELLA, co-produced by Mason May, editing and sound design by Nick Walker, photos by Emily Teague, and executive produced by JOÁO DALL'STELLA and Tracy E. Gilchrist, and marketing and social media, Ryan Heller.